Oh, I'm not even wearing any lipstick. Where's the lipstick? I feel like I should probably look at this before we actually start. Not bad. Woo! Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Kim Wilpon Crafts. Hi, how you doing? If we have not yet met yet, my name is Kim. I am a knitter, singer, actor, danstress, comedian by fault. I am thrilled to be bringing this episode to you today. If you clicked it, you know we're talking about my first cardigan. Yeah. So I would just like to preface this by saying I knitted this in 2013. So please hold your judgments. Or don't hold your judgment. I judge me for this sweater, which is why I'm having this reaction I'm having now. So let's just dive in. Let's do it. Okay. So this is my very first cardigan. Should I just put it on so we can really get the full, let's just get the full look going. Okay. Oh, this is good. Okay. So this is my very first cardigan. It is the Featherweight cardigan by Fettig / Knitbot. And the yarn I used is Manos del Uruguay Fino. I don't remember the colorway because it was in 2013, which was basically a million years ago. So the pattern I found on Ravelry, and I'll do a double check right now if I paid for it, because I always like to let you know if you can get this pattern for free. So this is not a free pattern. It cost $7 for the individual pattern in US dollars. Yes, US dollars. Yes, my love. Give you a little back. Ooh. My first garment. Honestly, the reason why I started knitting in the first place was so that I could wear my own clothing. I think slow fashion is really cool, and I like that I can make things for my body. I think that is priceless. All right. So I'm going to just do a quick close-up of the yarn so you can see how beautiful this yarn is and understand why I chose this yarn. This is a single ply yarn. But just look at the beautiful variegated blues. I got this yarn from Chelsea Yarns in New Jersey, and they have the Chelsea Pearls podcast, so shout out to them. They're so good. They're so good. So if you're looking for a good knitting podcast, they are amazing. If you're probably already following them already. I honestly love this, and I probably should knit another one because I love this one so much, but it doesn't really fit. Okay. Kim, you're getting ahead of yourself. So how did I decide on size and fit for this? I followed their pattern, and their pattern said the bust is this, measure your busts. You should always measure the fullest run and leave a little bit of room, it shouldn't be tight, because you want it to fit comfortably for you. And I'll look at what the measurements. This, I'm glad I'm looking at this while I'm filming. This is very important. So they have length and they also have bust. Those are the two measurements that are important to this, and I'll explain why. So this was the first time I realized when you follow a knitting pattern, you can do it for your body. So you knit it, we took the bust measurements, and then from the armpit to wherever you want it to go. So I have a short torso. So for me, I think I knit 7 inches or something. And then I was let's rib. And a lot of sweater patterns for me are way too long for my body shape. And that was a really big eye-opener for me. A huge eye-opener that I can now make things that look great on my body. So I like most of my knits cropped, and I have done the same here. What was easier than you thought? I believe it was increasing from the top down. So I believe you cast on a small amount and then you increase out, you're creating this top part that goes around to the front of the cardigan. What was harder than you thought? The sleeves were so much harder than I thought. I had done other things on DPNs, but sleeves on a cardigan, no. Okay, I think it's time that I reveal what had happened. So the sleeves, so I did them on DPNs, and they had this like ladder effect. If you know what I'm talking about, that's when your DPNs in between the stitches like don't touch. So like I just had all these like gaps. I had 3 or 4 gaps around the sleeve where I use the DPNs. And this is now why I only use small needles in the round to do my sleeves, because I don't want to deal with the chance that there's a ladder effect and now the sweater that I've been working on is not what I want. But so I ended up taking extra thread and kind of like stitching up the seams that were open. It's not very attractive for as long as I waited for the sweater, but again, it was my first cardigan, and unfortunately this was a learning moment for me. It was a hard one. The other thing I'm going to say was I didn't understand how to pick up and knit stitches. I didn't learn that, I don't think, until 2015, how to do it properly, and I didn't add enough stitches. Yeah, I guess they don't really give you a number of stitches in the pattern that you should pick up. It just says, like sometimes in patterns, if you're picking up stitches, it'll say pick up 92 stitches along the front side of the cardigan or something. I don't know. I'm throwing out numbers. But this pattern just says, and I'm going to read this, it says pick up 2 stitches for every 3 rows of the right front edge. But I was new, and I also, like I said, I didn't know how to pick up and knit stitches for a few more years. So that was a me thing, but I didn't understand what 2 stitches for every 3 rows really meant, which is pretty common. Now that I've knitted a lot of cardigans and such things, I know that. But then in 2013, I did not, and that was kind of a hard lesson. But it did give me that nice like curved shape, which kind of, I think, cinches in the waist a little bit more, maybe? And it ended up being like an interesting design detail. And most people who had known the pattern were like, oh, that's an interesting choice. Also, I bound off way too tightly. And so I was still learning how to bind off loosely. Like, this is like very tight. In fact, I had to rip the seam open and sew it down. You can kind of see it here. I love her, warts and all. Did you make any tweaks to the pattern or design itself? No, absolutely not. I was new to knitting. I basically was like reading and rereading and asking everyone questions about like how do I do things. I did not make any tweaks. I was scared. I was young. I didn't know any better. Would you recommend this for someone new to making cardigans? Yeah, I think this is the pattern I send to people when they're trying to make garments for the first time. I actually knit this cardigan 3 times. One of them's actually here behind me. So the third cardigan I don't have anymore because I knit it for my friend's wedding, which she wore on her wedding day. It's still very special for me. And it's a fast knit. I think this is knit on like a size 6 or something. So it's fingering weight yarn on a size 6. So the end result. So the front ended up, again, not being what I wanted. Yeah. Yep. And the sleeves, right. This unique design element. It's like when you go into an old house and you say, oh, it's got a lot of character. This cardigan has a lot of character and charm. So at the end of the day, it's not perfect. It is not perfect, no. But did I wear this everywhere? Yeah, absolutely. We love her. Although I do not wear the sweater very much anymore, I always keep it in my closet. I love looking back on it and going, that's where we started. I think the memory of what I learned and how much I've grown in my knitting, it's just like anytime I teach anyone how to knit and they make a mistake, I just tell them to keep going, because it's a learning process, and I think it's okay to have mistakes. I think that's kind of cool. It should not be perfect. I mean, like, it'd be nice if everything was perfect, but like, it doesn't have to be perfect. So here it is. Here is our baby's first cardigan, knit in 2013. Still in one piece, surprisingly. It made it through a lot of moves and travels and different countries, I believe. So if you enjoyed today's video, I wanted to show you my other featherweight cardigan. So here it is. So this time I got this correct. The sleeves look like sleeves because I started knitting things not on DPNs. So that is the end of today's episode. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please give this video a good old thumbs up. Leave us a comment down below. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done already. Ding those bells for those notifications, and I will see you all next week. Bye!